Good day. I have 3 topics that I jotted down to talk about. All right, so the first one, and they're in no specific order. The first one is jealousy. And for me, jealousy was never a thing until I was cheated on by a ex-wife. And once that happened, and there was that whole saga lasted a couple years. It might have been 1.5 to 2 years from when it began to when we were finally just split and divorced or whatever. But it wasn't until after that that jealousy even became a thing that I was concerned about or thought about. And during that couple of years, there was a lot of finding out things, lies, cover-ups. And when those happen to you, even just once, it puts a lot of doubt in your mind. But when it happens to you multiple times, over and over, it seemed, that really takes a toll on the integrity of your trust in someone, or in my case, thereafter became everyone, not just relationships, more so relationships. Things like that I wouldn't notice before, I would notice now. I still do. Stupid things that, like if my spouse is home when she shouldn't have been, or not home when she should have been, your mind takes off on these tangents of the what ifs and the whys, and you want validation and explanation for those things. Sometimes the in a lot of the cases with me is there is no explanation. There's no because nothing happened. It was all festered up and manifested in my head because of what I had been through in the past, so that what took place for me 10, 12 years ago has affected 2 relationships since then that did nothing, that had nothing to do with it and did nothing wrong. And I say did, I'm still in the second relationship after that breakup, which is my current wife. That's when jealousy popped in, and jealousy just, I don't know, never, like I said, never really thought about it until then. And then there's this other topic that revolves around or surrounds, it's surrounded by, or goes around, something like that is related to jealousy. And it was, if you remember the movie Indecent Proposal with Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson, that movie was like, I felt that movie, just the whole idea that they were, what's the word? I don't want to say baited, tempted with money. If she went and spent some time with this man, they would pay her $1 million or whatever it was. And especially when, it always is, money is always an issue. Money, you're always going to need more money. And if you're down and out and somebody offers it to you, it would be tempting, right? But watching that movie, just kind of made me think, nope, ain't no way I could ever do that with somebody that I really loved. And you saw how it like tore them apart. And so jealousy in that aspect, whenever I think about it, I'm like, no way. There's no way I could do that. Like I would just be torn apart by that. And on the flip side of that, I could never do that to someone. I would never want my significant other to feel those feelings, to go through what I fear or don't want to go through. I don't want them to go through it because it's just awful. I wouldn't even want somebody that is not my significant other to have to feel that, because I felt it and it sucks. And you it's just one of them things that you think is, I'm never going to make it through this. I'm never going to get over it. But you do. We always do. I say we always do. There are people that let things really bog them down. You've just got to find a way to accept things that you can't fix and move forward with the things that you can fix. And I think once you learn to accept, then things like that will be a lot easier to deal with. So yeah, jealousy in that aspect. You talk about like swingers, people that sleep with different partners. No way, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I just couldn't. So I'm not gonna get graphic, but that would be a tough thing to deal with. I just don't. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go there, and I don't want to make anybody feel that way. So for that reason, I'm not going to cross those lines either. So there's jealousy. All right. The next one is memory suppression, and I'm only talking about three major. I've got three things written down. So memory suppression. Do you have things that your memory maybe buries so deep down or back in the archives somewhere, so deep that you either don't remember them or you you can't remember them because they're pushed so far back. And the reality is you probably can remember it, but you've covered it up. You've dug a hole back there, threw it in a file cabinet, threw the file cabinet in there, filled it back up with dirt, planted some stuff over top of it. All that stuff has grown and has become lush and thick, and it's just, you almost forget. It's like burying a dog or a cat, or a pet in the backyard. You know it's there, but after years of it being there, it's like it's not there anymore, which is why headstones, grave markers are a thing, because once the soil has healed, you don't see it no more. So it's kind of like that with those memories where you just bury them, and then everything grows around it and kind of covers it up, and you don't think about it no more. And I know I have some things in my past that are definitely suppressed memories. Things that there's things that I see as dreams. So these would be things that, like, maybe the hole was dug and the file cabinet was thrown into it, but you never backfilled it. You never threw the dirt on. So now you just have this hole where, with time and the weather, there's been erosion and, some stuff has fallen down in there. So you don't see the file cabinet as well, but you still know it's there. And those ones for me are kind of like dreams. I'm on the fence as to whether or not they're a figment of my imagination, or a dream that I might have had or had a couple of times, or was it real? Did it really happen? And I've got it in this position, in this space in my mind where it's like a dream. So, and that isn't horrible, because I never really, some of those things I never can really validate if they're real or not. So they don't bother me as bad because I'm not sure if they're real. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm sure somebody out there is feeling something similar to that. But, like, is there things in your past that you have suppressed? Traumas, something bad, something horrible, or it could just be regular memories. Like, for example, I moved around a lot. When I was a kid, we went from Florida to Montana, Montana to Colorado, Colorado back to Florida. So there was a lot of good memories and good friends that I met in all of those different places. But once you leave those places, sometimes you lose track of them. You don't talk to people anymore. Sometimes you do, but it's like really scarce, once or twice a year, things like that. And those are good memories that are somewhat suppressed. I've got, where was I going with that? And just like that, it's gone. Yeah. You know what it is? I'll be sitting here recording stuff and I'll hear noises in the background, and my attention will stop on this and go to that. And I'll be like, what is that? What was that noise? Kind of like the whole dog thing, squirrel. But yeah, there's a lot of memory suppression. And like I said, I know I can't be the only one that does that. My last subject, politics. We said the word politics. That's just it. I'm not actually going to talk about politics, but that's what I'm going to talk about, is the fact that I don't like to talk about politics, for the simple fact that I haven't met a lot of people that can simply just talk about it. A lot of people get really aggressive about it, and they get really one-sided about it, and it becomes all me, and everything. I am not one to do that. I will not let politics get in the way of a friendship or a relationship that I have. I I lean more towards one side of the fence. I had dated a girl. She was the opposite. Her and her whole family were the opposite of what my values. But they weren't the opposite in the sense that I couldn't deal with them, or they were great people. I'm still friends with all of them. They knew where I stood and I knew where they stood, and nobody made that an issue. And I haven't seen that a lot. I didn't see it a lot prior to that family, and I haven't seen it a lot since that family. Mostly what I see is, once you bring this up, it's you're either completely on or on one side or the other. You can't be kind of in the middle or on one side, but you'll listen to, people get angry, and I'm not about angry. I'm about, I don't know, I love chit chatting. I love having conversations with people. And if something happens to steer that conversation in a negative manner, now I'm not enjoying it. So if I sense that could be the issue, I will do my best to not bring that up. The only time that I will talk about politics is around people that I know have the exact opinion as mine. And that's not because I'm afraid of what they're going to say. I just don't want it to get carried away. I don't want it to come to the point where we can no longer be friends because of those different views. For that reason, I leave it out of it. I leave that and religion out of stuff a lot, because those are the two things that I've seen that seem to create the most division. And I don't like division. I mean, I definitely know that if I had to pick or choose between good or bad, I would pick good every time. I also believe, when it comes to stuff like that, religion and politics, there is to me a gray area. There is a medium, and it's an area where you can have your opinion, they can have their opinion, and that's kind of what makes things work. That's kind of what makes the steam go. You know what I mean? If it could be more like that, then maybe I'd consider voicing opinions more so. But that's yeah. I don't like talking about politics and religion. I don't mind religion. Like, I used to work at a place. The supervisor he was a Pentecostal reverend, but he didn't go to church anymore. He only had church at his house. Him, his family, like wife and kids, their kids, like he was an older guy, so his kids were all grown up. They would all come to his house, and they would have church at their house. They would do their whatever. Me and this guy, we both ran front loaders at a rock quarry. And we were in these nice machines. They had nice cushiony rides. We were closed cab, air conditioned, heat. We had CB radios, stereo, and we would be on the CB radio talking all day. And I would listen to that man preach all day long. And I think what really captivated me, or I shouldn't have used that word because I need to use it here shortly. I think what made it tolerable was he had a way of captivating an audience. Like, this guy could tell a joke so good, so convincing. And when he would preach, it was the same way. Like, when he would tell me stuff, I liked it because I got to learn, and I like learning. If it's something that I'm interested in, I like learning. I just don't like, I don't like when it goes to an extreme, just like with the politics, just like with the jealousy. I don't like when it goes to extremes. But that man, I would listen to him preach all day, and I never really went to church. I did go to church there for a while. For about 3 months, me and my ex-wife had tried it at a Pentecostal church. Didn't like it, so that was the end of it. 3 months was enough. We see things our own way. we're not anti-religious, or, we all believe in God. We just believe in it in our own manner. We do our talking to him on our time, and that's how we keep it, because I don't want that extremes. I don't want to go too far over the edge on one side or the other. So that's all I've got for those things for today. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this back and see if I like it. See if it's worth posting. I have a hard time with that. I'll create something and send it to one or two people that I know and be like, "Hey, watch this." And when they watch it, they'll say, whatever, and I'll go, "Is it post worthy?" Because it's like I need that confirmation that, yeah, this is good. So I'll go over it and decide and go from there. So that's my 3 things that I wrote down to talk about today. Until the next time I come up with an idea and post a video, everybody be good to each other, and I will see you next time.